There's a lot of criticism of the self-help, the personal development industry in the world, and much of the criticism is deserved. It's warranted. One of the most common criticisms is that, well, these people are just saying use more willpower. Willpower doesn't work. It's been proven again and again. People go on a diet, try to use willpower, it doesn't work. Not only do they not keep their weight off, they gain all the weight back and then some. So there's a lot of validity to this idea that just telling people use willpower, go to a motivational speaker, get more willpower, visualize yourself or emulate some celebrity, it's not going to work. All of that is true. However, here's the problem with simply throwing up your hands and saying willpower doesn't work. If you buy into that mentality, what you're essentially saying is, I have no control over my life. I simply have to do as I'm told. If McDonald's and Burger King and Kentucky Fried Chicken tell me to eat more and more junk food, I'm going to. If Pepsi and Gatorade tell me consume more drinks with artificial sugars, I'm going to. What's the result? Massive skyrocketing rates of obesity and diabetes. Now, I don't happen to think that human beings today have less willpower than they did 50 years ago. But 50 years ago, at least in the United States, obesity was rare, less than 1%. Today, it's skyrocketing. We face epidemics of obesity. What's changed? It's not people's willpower. It's their environment. We now live in an environment where it's easy to just go through a normal day of life and be bombarded and surrounded by food choices that have way too many calories, way too many processed carbohydrates, too much sugar, too much fat in everything we eat. It simply was not the case 50 years ago. 50 years ago, you could just be an average person, not really thinking about your willpower, and it was pretty easy to go through a day and consume a diet of 2,000 calories. Maybe you had a cookie here or there, maybe you had a candy bar, maybe you had a Coke, but the Coke was likely to be 6 ounces. Maybe you had an ice cream cone. The ice cream cone was probably about that big, no bigger than a golf ball or a little bit bigger than the average golf ball. These days, if you just go with the flow, go with the average, you're going to get a cola that's 32 ounces. You're going to get an ice cream cone that has ice cream the size of your head. So that's the real problem, is you don't have to have less willpower than before, and you're going to end up obese, and a lot of bad things are going to happen to your health and your life. So what is required is that someone is going to have control over your life. And the problem is the default is putting it to other people, outsourcing it to corporations. The corporations in restaurants who decide they can make more money by giving you giant portions, outsourcing it to the corporate marketers at Coca-Cola and Pepsi and Doritos, who figure if they simply bombard you with ads all day long, you're going to get into this habit of eating and snacking all day long. Oh, I can't rely on willpower. Of course, I have to take a snack every hour, every half hour. I understand it's not as simple as saying, use willpower, don't snack anymore. But the idea that you're going to hand over all power of your life, all power over your basic quality of life, how long you'll live, to corporate advertisers and to corporate restaurants and to corporate food processors, I have a problem with that, and I think you should too. So what's the answer? Again, it's not simply saying I have willpower. It's using some power you have to decide what quality life you want, and then figuring out how you can influence yourself. And simply saying, I'm going to eat healthy from now on, doesn't have much impact. What you bombard your brain with all day long does have an impact. So you can decide you're not going to watch hours and hours and hours of TV and entertainment video on YouTube, being bombarded with ads to eat garbage. That's a decision you can make. You can decide to bombard your brain and your eyes with messages about healthy living. That is what Ultimize is all about. It's about changing this power equation, trying to help you gain control over your life in a way that doesn't simply rely on willpower, because the average person's willpower, mine included, versus all the power of Madison Avenue and major corporate advertising, that's a mismatch. There has to be something to level the playing field. Critics of willpower are absolutely right. It's not enough. But you do have the will to try to power your own life the way you want. That's why Ultimize exists. It's about helping you have power to control your own life in a way that doesn't simply rely on what we commonly think of as willpower.